the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Program in the country right now in Georgia. It's an asset, and Heupel has protected home field really well, but they have to go to Oklahoma and they have to go to Arkansas before they get Florida at home. And I think a lot of fans have just penciled in Arkansas as a definite win. The way I look at it is like, I think a split is the most likely, and that might mean they have a great win for Nico's first time at Oklahoma, and it's a big win, and then they have to go right back to Arkansas, and let's just say Taylor Green and Pi Petrino are cooking. I don't know. I just think a split is most likely. I would be very surprised if Tennessee is undefeated going into the Florida game. So I don't know. Do you share that sentiment that a split on the road to expect Tennessee to win back-to-back road SEC games in Nico's first season as a starter is a little bit much?
Well, I think one thing that you're getting wrong here, you keep calling it back-to-back. There's a bye week in between.
It's still back-to-back, though. It's back-to-back. Like, you're not getting a home game in between then. Like,
that doesn't
you're
matter.
On the road, both games.
Let me go back to my staple of Josh Heupel off of buys, and I don't have the numbers in front of me.
But they're good.
They're really darn good, and I'll be pretty dang surprised if they lose to an Arkansas team that, I don't know. Again, maybe Bobby Petrino figures it out. The Green kid is, I think, talented, but I just don't see it. I don't think there's probably less optimism in Fayetteville for this football season anywhere in the SEC besides, I guess, West End. And that's, if you're down in Vanderbilt standard, that's pretty bad. So I just don't see it. Now, do I think it's probably most likely they split those games? Sure, because I think they're going to be underdogs at Oklahoma. So I'd say there's a 55% chance they lose that game. So sure, yeah, I think a split's the most likely chance. But to me, the North Carolina State game's the game I worry about a lot more than the Arkansas.
I don't get that. I think the NC State Tennessee wins by double digits.
Carolina State's better, and it's early. You just talked about it. I mean, it's Nico's truly.
It's a neutral game. It's a
North
neutral
Carolina
site in Charlotte.
Is way better than Arkansas. It's not even close.
It's different though. You're not playing at NC State. You're playing in a neutral site. Like playing in Fayetteville will be something. I'm telling you. Like
you'll
playing
be
in Fayetteville
in front of 15,000 empty seats. A fan base that's completely checked out of the football program.
They're not going to be checked out at the beginning of the season. I think that might be true at the end. They will not be checked out at the beginning of the year.
They're already checked out. I played golf with an Arkansas fan on Sunday. They're checked out. They're already talking basketball season. They can't believe Pittman got another year.
Chase, semi-bold prediction: Tennessee bounces Sam Pittman. He's fired.
Oh, oof.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right, here you go. Arkansas schedule: Pine Bluff at home, week 1, win. At Oklahoma State, loss. UAB at home. Dude, I don't even know if that's a gimme, but let's give them a win. So they're 2-1. And then they go at Auburn, at A&M. They lose both of those games. They're 2-3. And if they get blasted by Tennessee and Fayetteville, they'll be 2-4. Bye-bye, Sam Pittman.
I think it's possible.
You think Tennessee's offense is not scoring bare minimum 35, probably 40 off of bye week against that Arkansas defense, I'm not buying it.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing,
Chase.
but if you were to tell me that there's 70 total points scored in Arkansas, Tennessee, I also would tend to agree with that sentiment.
Chase, as a Tennessee fan, are you more concerned with the Kentucky game in Neyland or the road game at Arkansas?
Road game at Arkansas, no question. Tennessee, Heupel's not losing Kentucky, especially at home.
Road game at Arkansas is closer to Vanderbilt than the Kentucky game.
Oh, I disagree. I'm telling you, Taylor Green has. I like the Petrino factor. Taylor Green, I like Taylor Green a lot. I still think winning on the road in the SEC. I think winning at Arkansas is more complicated for Tennessee than winning at Kentucky. Winning at home against Kentucky, it doesn't really matter. I'm just not worried about Kentucky in any context.
Nor should you be, but you should be even less worried about Arkansas. Is my point.
I'm not saying I think Tennessee's going to lose at Arkansas. I'm just saying right now, July 30th, I don't think Tennessee is starting out 2-0 on the road in the SEC before they get to Florida. That's all I'm saying. Is I would be very, very surprised if that. I would be overjoyed, but I also just think I struggle to see it. I struggle to see Tennessee just being undefeated on the road in the SEC to start off.
Oh, this is really just an Oklahoma question to me though, because Tennessee beats the Sooners in Norman, and then they're coming off a bye. No one's gonna pick Arkansas at all. Like
That's true.
It is just almost a bye into the home stretch.
I mean, if they lose to Oklahoma, what I would tend to go with is like with the bye and then Arkansas, like what that game will look like will be pretty brutal. I think that's where it looks like LSU, where Tennessee is just like fans are leaving at beginning of the fourth quarter. Like if Tennessee loses to Oklahoma, that 2 weeks prior, what that game will look like at Arkansas, because I don't think they're going 0 for 2 on the road. But if they lose to Oklahoma, I think it's an absolute blowout. But it could be an overlooked city in terms of Arkansas. Like the Solid Verbal folks, let down look ahead. If they come off this emotional high from beating Oklahoma on the road, if game day's there, and then they have this week off and they're just not fully, they're thinking about Florida and Alabama right after, like, do they overlook Arkansas on the road and just give, like, the defense isn't there, the pass rush isn't there, and Tennessee secondary gets torched and it's like 45-42 Arkansas win or something silly like that? Like, I don't know. I think it's in play. Like, that's the one thing I worry about if you beat Oklahoma in dramatic fashion, is just that you then move on to Florida and Alabama and you forget that you still have to win on the road at Arkansas.
I think it'll be a real concerning sign about this team's maturity level if they can't snap in off of a bye week for the Arkansas game. To me, that would be
one of the worst teams in the league. Yeah, so you're saying, Chase, that the only way you see Tennessee losing to Arkansas is if it beats Oklahoma?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't really see the logic. I'm not going to lie, but I understand the concept of trap games.
I mean, if they beat Oklahoma, I think that's the win of the year for them. I
understand the concept of trap games, but
yeah,
that early in the season coming off a bye doesn't really feel like a trap game to me.
I mean, think about it. Like, that would be 2 top 20 wins out of the gate here for Tennessee if they beat NC State and Oklahoma before they even get to Arkansas. Like, I think that's added. That's a lot of early tests for Tennessee and a new quarterback in his first year as a starter. Like, I think that's a lot.
I do think, to Chase's point, I would have Kentucky and Arkansas, I'd view pretty similarly from a winning percentage chance. Thinking Arkansas is a harder game than North Carolina State. And I think I'm just maybe circling that from, we talked about it a lot.
Look at the history of NC State against the SEC, and it's not good.
They're good this year.
Pittsburgh, I'll say it again. Pittsburgh went 5-7 2 years ago, and a Tennessee team that went 10-2 needed their quarterback to get hurt to win that game.
But that was at Pitt. It wasn't a neutral site.
We're gonna sit here and act like Pitt's Death Valley at night or something. All right.
Well, that's many have been saying. Like many were saying. I mean, it was a Rudy situation with that backup quarterback coming in there dealing
after sure.
He was
Nick Patty.
Nick Patty.
He was at Acrisure Stadium. Build the statue.
That dude was abysmal until the last drive of the game.
Hey, he played with heart.
If he just played with heart, Pittsburgh wins that game.
Gritty performance from Patty.
Gritty, I will give you. Gritty, once again, much like Will McBride against Missouri in 2017.
That would have escaping that game with a win was low-key just so critical for that Tennessee team in that season. And
that was a Tennessee team with a senior veteran starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Knew who it's goodness knows they knew the receiver they could trust in that game. They threw it to him only 35 times. And now you're talking about a Tennessee team facing a better North Carolina State team, albeit, yes, neutral site, but a neutral site that will truly be a neutral site. A lot of neutral sites are Tennessee fans.
I don't know. I think it'll still be 75-25 Tennessee fans there.
Oh, I'd be surprised if it's that.
I think it'll be, at least 60-40.
That's not a tough drive for Tennessee fans. It's just
not at all.
They're going to come in for that one. And it's Nico's first big game. Like, that's the other part of it, is I just think so many people want to watch, like, the Nico effect.
And another reason you should think NC State is harder.
Why?
That's another big part of it to my point.
Nico's first big
game.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a neutral site.
Against a really good team.
Like, I would be floored if Tennessee lost to NC State.
If I told you Grace McCall outdid Nico in that game, like, it's not
I would be
the
floored.
biggest surprise in the world.
Yeah, Grace McCall in this offense, I don't know what he's going to look like. He's been playing in the Jamie Chadwell system, and he was banged up last year. I don't know how Grayson McCall is going to transition with Robert and I think is the OC now at NC State. So I don't know. We'll see. The quarterback play was not good at NC State last year.
Arkansas is bottom of the barrel SEC. NC State is top 5 ACC team. And I know the disparity between the leagues is vast, but still.
I don't know. Early season, week 3, do you think NC State's favored at Fayetteville? I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Early season, like,
I like
Taylor Green.
6.
Like, if you're going to tell me, like, right now, who if I had to make a prediction, who's better this year, Taylor Green and Bobby Petrino, or Robert and I and Grayson McCall? Give me Taylor Green and Bobby Petrino. Like, I think they'll be better.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that's crazy. I think North Carolina State's defense is going to be.
That's always great, though.
There's more variables in the equation there.
You know what North Carolina State is, and they're a team that's going to go 9-3.
Yeah.
and they're going to be
And one of those
solid,
guaranteed losses is to the Tennessee Volunteers in Charlotte, North Carolina. Like I'm saying it right now, guaranteed.
I'm with you.
Loss.
Tennessee's
wins
winning
the
that
game,
game, but it's even more of a guarantee they beat Arkansas.
I just don't get, and maybe I'm too much of a slave to Vegas. I just don't get you sitting here and saying there's no chance Tennessee loses a game they're going to be like 4-point favorites in, maybe less than that.
It's just no chance. And also, if they drop that game, when I tell you the Oklahoma game is going to be absolutely nauseating because your CFP, like it's so funny how the schedule works out because if you lose to NC State, Oklahoma, where you're also going to be a dog in, suddenly becomes like a must win if you want to make the college football playoff, or your season's basically over in terms of your expectations. Like you're looking at 8-4 best case scenario. If you drop NC State and then you drop Oklahoma, you still have at Georgia on the schedule, and then you're being asked to sweep Florida and Alabama at home still. Like I don't think that's realistic because I still think they're going to split Florida and Bama. I don't think, like the way I look at it.
No, I see what he's saying though. If you lose to NC State and Oklahoma, it's hard to see Tennessee go 9-3.
It's hard. Sure, it's hard to see it. I don't think it's impossible.
I just think that's asking a lot. I think that is
asking a lot. Sure,
you've dug yourself a huge hole in that way. So I think you need to come out of Arkansas, Oklahoma, NC State with one loss, and I think you're still control your own destiny at that point. And you still feel pretty good about your CFP chances. You drop two of those, I think it's over.
It's more likely they come out of that with 0 than 2.
I would
losses.
Tend to agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, if I'm gonna pick Tennessee to win all those games, so
let me just go ahead and say something. And I know the scenarios changed it to your point here, Chase. If Tennessee doesn't sweep Florida and Alabama, I don't think they're making the college football playoff.
Ooh,
I think Tennessee needs to go undefeated at home.
So you don't think 10-2 gets in?
I think 10-2 gets in. I just don't think Tennessee is going to win at Oklahoma and the NC State game. I would be surprised.
They're better. Tennessee's a better team than both of those teams. Like, yes, I get one's on the road.
Slightly better than Oklahoma. And
I don't know. Like, if Nico is really, really, really good, are we just saying
winning
that
on the
Jackson
road
Darnold's
against good teams in the SEC is
really,
so
really,
hard.
really good. Tennessee's going to be fine. Yeah. What if Jackson Arnold's really, really, really good?
I think it's more likely that Nico's better.
He'll be starting that game at home where Nico will be his first true road start.
Also, are we sure Cooper is available for all of these games? Is Cooper healthy? Like, that's a part of this. Is like the offensive line needs to be healthy. Like the offensive line, especially center.
We can get into speculating health all we want, but
yeah. But I'm just saying that matters on the road in the SEC. It's like, what does Cooper look like? How does Lance Hurd do in his first road test as protecting Nico's blind side? Like, we'll see. But I think, to Ryan's point, I don't agree with they have to sweep Florida and Bama to win.
Yeah,
they don't have to, but I think that's the most likely.
It's still just asking a lot. I mean, I don't know.
Sure,
I don't like that. I wish the bye was actually in between those
games.
Go
win some big games.
Like they needed the bye in between Florida and Bama.
Yeah. I mean, just sat here and talked about how we should be worried about Arkansas for 20 minutes.
No,
so
but I would hold on.
Well
I'm already saying they're splitting that one, so I would rather not use the bye there and use the bye.
By saying that, Chase, you're just saying Tennessee's losing to Oklahoma. That's all you're saying.
I tend to think that's the case right now.
Yeah. And that's the case. If that's the case, if Tennessee loses to Oklahoma, you better go beat Florida and Alabama, or you're not making the playoffs.
I think what would be interesting too is like I think your playoff chances come down to Athens at the end of the year at that point, because I think you're still sitting at 2 losses going to Georgia, and that game might be a CFP elimination game for Tennessee, which is fun,
but.
I don't know. What if Nico's really good by Georgia? Athens? But what if Nico's playing at a Heisman level and it just Georgia looks a little bit different? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.